welcome to Sunday's edition of Kraken The Cryptic, and I believe a debut on the channel for a constructor by the name of 99% Sneaky. I'm not sure what that means 1% of Sneaky is, or 1% of the constructor is. Maybe you let me know in the comments. But this is called Jeweled Band, and it is one of my favourite types of puzzle. Look at this, we've got quadruple clues going on, a bit of killer Sudoku as well. Very, very pretty symmetrical grid. And this one's been recommended to us a few times, got magnificent comments over on Logic Masters Germany. In fact, we are in a week. Sometimes the world of Sudoku just goes a bit mad. And in the last, 4 days, we've had a puzzle we described as the funniest Sudoku ever. Can a Sudoku be funny? Yes, definitely. Check out that puzzle in that video if you don't believe me. That was absolutely wonderful by Chameleon. Then on Friday we had a puzzle which we called something like "We Beg You to Try This Puzzle," and I still do. Blashirk's incredible diagonal skyscraper. That is a very approachable and utterly joyful puzzle. And then yesterday's puzzle was sort of a hybrid of Minesweeper, the game we've all played occasionally at work, I think, maybe. To pass the time, and Sudoku by Florian Wortman, and that's also getting a lot of plaudits. And today we've got quadruples by 99% Sneaky and Jeweled Band. We will have a look at this in a moment or two, but these are the Halcyon days of Sudoku, there is no doubt. I'm hoping that today is going to be the Halcyon day of Ben Stokes as well. I say this at lunch on the 4th day of the test, and he's our only hope. Anyway, what else do I have to tell you about today? Oh, well, I will tell you that this is not the first Sudoku video I have made today, because I spent 2 hours 15 minutes recording a video earlier on for our book. So as many of you all know, we launched a Kickstarter campaign to make our second book, and we're quite late in the process. Actually, the book is not far off ready. And that has meant that Mark and I have had to be making solving videos for some of the extra puzzles that are going to be included in the book. And today's puzzle that I had a crack at was called Flagranti by Zetamath. Oh my goodness, was it difficult. It's absolutely brilliant. It is completely and utterly insane, involving 2 loops in the grid, creating ominoes. And my goodness me, I had a battle with it. In 2 hours 15 minutes it took me to solve it, but I have solved it, and that video is currently being exported by Movavi. So yeah, if it's that puzzle, I can assure you, is going to appear very late on in the book. One of the hardest puzzles I've ever solved in my life. Anyway, so this is my second Sudoku video of the day. What else do I have to tell you about? The big news is that yesterday, over on Patreon, for our patrons, thank you so much if you're a patron, you support the channel in that way. Well, we've got a brand new Sudoku hunt, Kraken The Cryptic. See what we did there. Yeah, it's been great. I mean, we've had about 200 entries already, and the feedback so far has been wonderful. So do have a go. If you've not had a go at that, there's 6 puzzles in the hunt and then a little meta to do at the end. They are mostly approachable puzzles, so I think you'll be able to solve them, and I'm sure that you'll enjoy them. So let us know. Do have a crack. You've got until the 20th of July to submit your entry and be in with a chance of winning the competition. Other than that, the only other thing I need to do is a birthday. I've got one birthday to do today. Happy birthday, Jace, who has turned 32, and I know it's your birthday because your wife Brentney wrote to me. And also, I will tell you, Jace has assured me you are getting chocolate cake today. So lucky you. And to be honest though, I know it's your birthday, Jace, but I want to mention your son Alistair, who I understand is now nearly 9 and has been watching Kraken The Cryptic since the age of 5 or 6, solving puzzles and now getting into setting puzzles. Well, Alistair, you are the future, my friend. So I hope the whole family has an absolutely brilliant day today. Of course. Now, let's get on with Jeweled Band. Let's see what 99% Sneaky has constructed. These are the rules. Normal Sudoku rules apply. Digits in a cage cannot repeat, and some must sum to the small clue in the top left corner of the cage. So those cells add up to 16, but what we couldn't do something like that, because although these 7s are not in the same row, column or box of the Sudoku, so they don't break the rules of Sudoku, they break the rules of killer Sudoku, because you can't repeat the digit in a cage. And digits in a white circle must appear at least once in the 4 cells touching the circle. So these 4 cells include at least 1 3 and at least 1 4. But remember, they could include 2 4s, something like that. And they could indeed. Well, they couldn't. I see that won't work because of this clue, but something like that would, in theory, be possible. Do have a go at the puzzle. The way to play, as usual, is to click the link under the video. But now I get to play. Let's get cracking. Now, there's one thing that's shouting at me when I look at this grid. If you look at the quadruple clues that have 2 digits in them, they are all aligned. In the sense that, well, because there must be a 3 and a 4, at least 1 3 or 4 in this 2x2, and there must be at least a 3 and a 4 in this 2x2. How many 3s and 4s are there in those cells? You got that, didn't you? The answer is 0, of course, because and the way to understand that is, how many 3s do we think they're going to be in row 3? Well, the answer to that is 1. How many 3s do we think there are going to be in column 4? The answer to that is 1. So in these 18 cells there are 2 3s. Yet there must be a 3 in there, and there must be a 3 in there. So there can't be more 3s in this section of the grid. Or we would have more than 2 3s in 2 columns, and that will necessitate a repeated 3. So these cells don't contain 3 or 4. These cells don't contain 3 or 4. But more than that, let's just have a look at these as well, because there's another restriction. Look, apply. Oh, horrible clashing colours. Let's try yellow instead. If we look at these cells can't have 1 or 2 in them either, and neither can these. So actually, we have a little area of the grid, these little 2x2s that can't be. Yeah, okay. So I've got the break in now by thinking about these collectively. It's because what we know about these 2x2s is that they can contain neither 1 nor 2, nor 3, nor 4. So what's the minimum value of those 2 digits? Well, 5 and 6 is the minimum, but they must therefore be 5 and 6 in order to allow this cell to exist and to have a positive total. So this is a 5 6 with a 1 here. Now these squares. That's gorgeous. That's really gorgeous, isn't it? Okay, so let's move our attention to this 2x2, which also can't contain 1, 2, 3 and 4 for the same reason, but now can't have 5, 6 in it either. So the minimum value of these 2 squares is 7 and 8, which means the maximum value of this square is 2. Well, it can't be 1, so it has to be 2, and this has to be a 7-8 pair. That's beautiful. Does that mean no. Oh, do I? No. Oh, I suddenly thought this was going to be a naked single, but it's not, is it? It can't, because this isn't in the cells that are yellow and green. It's just purely yellow, which is sort of my colour for not a 1 or a 2. So that square can be 3, 4 or 9. It doesn't benefit from the greenlinesses that we were looking at in the columns of where 3s and 4s couldn't go. Right, but what about those 2 squares then? Can we do a similar trickery? These are a minimum of 5 and 6, aren't they? Can we do that? I don't know. I don't think so, actually. Because I think these could be 5 and 6, or they could be 5 and 7. They definitely have 5 in them. Definitely. And this is a 1 or a 2. Oh, sorry. Sudoku will help me. This is a 1. Okay, so these have to add up to 12 without involving 3 or 4. So they have to be a 5-7 pair. That's fairly straightforward. As usual for me, I wasn't doing Sudoku. Ooh, Okay, so now if you look at this, we can do this trick again with any digit that appears twice in the column. Now you can see 7s in this domino and 7s in this domino. So these account for the 2 7s that must exist in these 2 columns. So you can sort of start to sketch in a restriction related to those cells. Those 14 cells there cannot have 7s in them. Okay, I don't know what to do with that actually. I think that's probably not where we go next. What about this then? Have we got the same trick applying to these squares? So these squares can't be 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5. So they're a minimum of 6. Yeah, this has to be 6, 8 and this has to be 2. Because this can't be 1. I have actually seen that this time. So again, 6s are aligning in these dominoes. Now, okay, right, so now we do Sudoku on 1s and 2s, I think, and ask where 1 and 2 go in box 2. And the answer seems at first blush to be in any of those 3 cells, but then remember, this cell here can't be a 1 or a 2 because we've got this 1, 2 configuration at the start and end of rows 3 and 4. So this is a 1, 2 pair. Now we've got a 14 cage that's got 3 contributed by these 2 cells, so these 2 cells add up to 11. Which can't be 2, 9. It might be able to be anything else, perhaps. Okay, so now a little worryingly, I might be getting stuck. I don't want to get stuck. Okay. So what, one may ask, am I meant to do next? I haven't got a clue. Actually, I'm now wondering whether I've got to look at these 2 columns, perhaps. Because... yeah, no, maybe not, actually. So, okay, this is interesting. So 1 and 2 in box 9 is what I'm wondering about. Now, because we've got this little configuration of 1s and 2s, we can't have 1s and 2s down here, can we? We can't have a 1 or a 2 here. We could, I think, have a 1 or a 2 here. Otherwise, this would be forced to be a 1-2 pair, which would be really interesting, because if this was a 1-2 pair, this would be a 1-2 pair, this would be a 1-2 pair, this would be a 1-2 pair. Is that a problem? I'm just thinking about it. It might not be a problem. I don't know. Is that square 3, 4 or 9 as well? That can't be 1, 2. Yeah, this has the same quality as this one. That's got to be 3, 4 or 9. We've got these 2 10 cages, but I don't think these are restricted. 9 is in one of those. No, okay, I've really ground to a halt here. I thought we were off to a good start. But sneaky, we have to watch out for sneaky, because sneaky is 99% sneaky, which is a lot of sneaky. It is a lot of sneaky, isn't it? What we could do... Could we say something about this? Is this 14 cage doing more work than I think it is? I can see we can't put a 3 and a 4 in both of those squares, because then these 2 squares wouldn't add up to 11. So one of these could be 3 or 4. No, that's a silly... I think that's a silly thought. I think I'm having a silly thought there. This... Oh, although, hang on. Oh, no, it's obvious. I see. Oh, goodness me, that's appalling. I'm embarrassed by that. Okay, look. This 3-4 congregation. How many 3s and 4s can we have in row 9? I mean, I know it seems a really silly question, but I think it helps me. It helps me at least to elucidate what's going on in these quadruple clues. Well, there's going to be 1 3 and 1 4 in this row, and yet these 8 cells contain 2 3s and 2 4s. So if I can only put 1 3 and 1 4 in there must be a 3 or a 4 in a 3 and a 4 in those 2 squares. So these are right. So now look at my quadruple clue. All of a sudden, I've now got a 9 here. So this 10 cage is now not 1 9. So I mean, it can still be a lot of things. I think 2 8 3 7 or 4 6. What's this doing? 7 has to be in one of those squares. So this 10 cage can't be 3 7. It's something to do with... Okay, so let's see if we can do... Can we do the same trick here? There's a 3 and a 4, at most 1 3 and 1 4 in there. So there must be 1 3 and 1 4 in these 4 cells. Is that somehow important? Not sure. I'm not quite getting this, am I? I think I'm close to understanding it, but close is not the same as having understood it. What about... I mean, this digit, whatever it is, has to be in this domino, so it has to be in this domino, which is going to create a virtual 3-4 pair in this column. But that would be lovely if it interfered with the 10 cage somehow, but it's not going to. It's not... Right. I think I've underplayed my hand here. I think I might have underplayed my hand. I'm wondering if what I should have done... So I spotted these 2 by 2s as being important. But I'm actually now wondering, let me go to Control A. Can I just delete all the colours from the grid? I'm wondering if I have to be more diligent about set theory, actually. I have a feeling that the 1s and 2s, at least the 1s and 2s, and possibly the 3s and the 4s in the other direction, are doing more work than I'd appreciated. So I'm just going to check this because I've got no other better ideas at the moment. So let me ask you about these cells here. I want to highlight those cells and I want to ask a question about them. Can we describe the contents of those blue cells? Obviously we don't know exactly where the digits go in these blue cells yet, but we can describe exactly the contents of those blue cells, because each of these rows must contain the numbers 1 to 9 once each. So in other words, the blue cells as a unit contain 4 sets of the digits 1 to 9. There's going to be 4 1s in them, 4 2s in them, 4 3s, all the way through to 4 9s. Now, have I got my Scrabble bag? I have! I've got my Scrabble bags. Here we go. Oh, there's tiles falling out. So imagine that I have 36 Scrabble tiles, and I write things like this, and I write onto each Scrabble tile these digits. So we know the contents of this bag is what I'm trying to say. There's 36 tiles in there. There are 4 1s, 4 2s, 4 3s, etc., all the way through to 4 9s. Now, I'm just going to highlight something different but the same. I'm going to highlight those cells in orange. Now, can we describe the orange cells in total? Well, yes, we can, because each column of a Sudoku contains the digits 1 to 9 once each. So orange as a unit is 4 sets of the digits 1 to 9 as well. It's exactly the same as blue. You know what we're going to do with this bag. So this has got 36 tiles in it as well. So at this point, our orange and blue bags have the same things in them. Now, this is important, because what we can do is we can go and find the tiles that correspond to all of the cells that have blue and orange in them. So if I was to find this tile here and remove it from both bags, like that, what could we say about the contents of each bag now? Well, now we wouldn't quite know what the exact composition of the blue and the orange bag was, because we've taken out an unknown digit. But we've taken that unknown digit out of both bags. So the contents of both bags, which now consist of only 35 tiles, is the same. And of course, we can continue doing that. So we can take all of these tiles out. So we've removed 16 tiles. And the tiles we're left with, what are we left with? 20 tiles by the looks of it. I might have done that maths wrong, but I think I've got 20 tiles left in each colour now, and therefore in each bag. And although I don't know the composition of the exact tiles that are left, I know that both bags contain the same things. Now, why am I going to all this effort? Well, what occurred to me was that if we look at the blue tiles as a set now, I know for sure that still in my blue bag, I've got 4 tiles with a 1 on, because there's a tile, because those tiles have to have a 1 in, these have to have a 1 in, these have to have a 1 in, and these have to have a 1 in. I've also got 4 tiles with a 2 on. Now, why did I notice that this might be interesting? Well, I was looking at this 1-2 configuration here, and I was thinking, hang on, that means I can't put any more 1s and 2s into columns 4 or 6 here. So I've got to put a 1 and a 2 in this column, and I've got to put a 1 and a 2 in this column. Well, these 2 cells can't be a 1 or a 2. This cell can't be a 1 or a 2. We know we can't put, we know that those 1s and 2s have to go in orange, obviously, because we know that the contents of orange is the same as the contents of blue. So, and this might not be going anywhere now, I'm suddenly thinking, but, so I know that these 6 cells have to contain 2 1s and 2 2s. Now here is my question. I haven't formulated an answer in my brain to this question yet. Here is my question. Well, no, I do know the answer to it. I have now worked this out. This is very clever, by the way. This is far cleverer and far sneakier than it had any right to be. It is 99.9% sneaky. Sneaky's name is not correct because there is only about 0.1% of sneaky that is not sneaky. I've now discovered. So what I was wondering is it possible, given I know that these 3 squares have to contain a 1 and a 2, can I put them both there? And I think the answer is no. I think. Because if I do put them there, this 3-4 quadruple has to have a 3-4 here, and this quadruple has to have a 3-4 there, and that's too many 3s and 4s in column 7. So I can't put 1 and 2 there, which means that in these 3 cells, this cell must be a 1 or a 2, which means this one must be a 3 or a 4, because I must have a 3 and a 4 around this quadruple. And I can run exactly the same logic here, so that's got to be a 1 or a 2, which means this has to be a 3 or a 4. That means these squares consist of well, one of these digits is a 1 or a 2, and one of them is a 3 or a 4. And the same is not true here. One of these is a 3 or a 4. Because we can't put both 3 and 4 here. So exactly one of these is a 3 or a 4. Don't really know how to... Well, maybe what we do now is colour 3s and 4s, or colour 1s and 2s. I don't know which we colour, but we might be able to colour one of them. There's definitely a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 up here. We're close to this now, I think. I'm close to understanding it. I haven't understood it quite yet, but I think this set idea is interesting. Well, it's nearly fascinating as well, because the total quantum, or that we almost know the total constituents now of orange, don't we? There's very few orange cells left that we haven't filled in. I mean, given I know there's a 3 or a 4 in there and a 3 or a 4 in there, there's effectively only 4 unknown cells in orange, which means the blue has to consist of exactly what we've got in orange, plus these unknown 4 cells, however they're disposed. Okay. And then the next question is has any of this actually been helpful? I mean, I feel like getting this 1-2 pair is helpful. Oh, there, I get a digit. Sorry, 3-4 pair there. That's become a 9. Aha! So now 9 has appeared in blue. So 9 has to appear in orange somewhere. And it's not... Oh. Actually, it can be in a lot of places, can't it? Ah, that's a shame. Okay, but these... No, it can't. 9 is exactly there. Aha, here we go. Are we getting to the bottom of this? 9 has to be in these 2 squares by Sudoku. Oh. Yeah, okay, look. 5 around that quadruple clue can only go exactly there. So these 3 squares are 6, 7 and 8 now by a process of Sudoku. 7 is in one of these 4 squares, so 7 is not there. 8 is in one of these squares. Well, hang on. Because look, those squares are in... Oh, I see, the 7 gets placed. This is really clever. This is really clever stuff. Look, this is a 1, 2, 3, 4 quadruple by Sudoku, so that's not 7. This is 7, which means this isn't 7. But I think 8 now has to be there, which means this is 6. Wow. Wow. That is what I would like to say. Now, have we... No, I was about... 6. If that's 6, that's 5. Ha ha ha, here we go, a bit more. So that's 6, that's 8, come on. So this square is 7 or 8, apparently, by our old friend Sudoku. Very fair-weathered friend Sudoku is. Got to be very careful. Sneaky friend. Now what do we do? Haven't got a clue. I've not got a clue. Is it something... I don't know. I really don't know. Okay, let's pencil mark this column, I think. where we're looking for 5s, 7s and 9s into the gaps. That can be a 5. Oh, well, that can't be a 9 because there's a 9 around there. Okay, so there is a 9 in this domino now, and that is it. Wow, this 10 cage now doesn't have 9 in it, doesn't have 7 in it, doesn't have 8 in it, so it's a 4-6 pair. And if it's a 4-6 pair, that is, well, it's getting rid of 4 from here. That's doing remarkably little, actually, I'm afraid. Oh, Bobbins face, that's what I have to say to you. You rotten thing. No, okay, sorry, that's not how we're going to crack the puzzle. We need to think harder again. We could argue about, wow, I don't know. I think I've probably underused some of these digits we've just earned on the right side. How can we do better? 9. Oh, there's a second 9 in blue, is there? That's weird. That could be important, actually. Because I'm looking at this row, I'm asking where 9 goes. So 9 seems to have to be in a blue digit, but 9 is in a second blue digit there. So in orange, I need to put 2 9s. Where am I putting those 2 9s? That's my question. And the answer to that is, well, it's not quite clear. I can put 1 in here, 1 in one of these squares, and I can put 1 in one of those squares. So that's what I must do. But how does that help me? Knowing there's a 9 in one of those 4 squares is not exactly... I mean, it'd be great to know if it was in... Oh, it's not in the 14 cage, because that would have to be a 9-2 pair, because we know we needed 11 more. So the 9 is in the top row. What a fascinating puzzle this is. It's really interesting. And it doesn't feel like it's solving like a normal quadruple puzzle. Okay. So alright, that's really interesting. I mean, I know one of these is a 9. But I don't think I know which one. Looks like it's more likely to be this one. I mean, if that was 9, that would be 9. Oh, it is. Look, that's a way of thinking about it. That's really strange. I think I could have got that a different way. Yeah, so what I'm noticing is if I do put 9 here, the 9 in column 7 has to be there. And now by Sudoku, I need to put a 9 in one of those cells, which I cannot do. So this cannot be the 9, which means this is the 9, which means this is 9. Now, if this is 9, do we actually learn anything extra? The answer to that is I don't know. I don't know, but wish I did know. 6 in this box is in one of those 3 squares. Ooh, nearly interesting, but not quite interesting enough. Can we get any more cool digits from the set theory? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I'm baffled here as well. Oh, I see. We get a 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a 5, 9 pair. So that's yeah, we get another quadruple here. So these are from 6, 7, and 8. Now, does that help us? Well, maybe it doesn't actually. I know there's a 6 in this domino, but this quadruple clue is not aligning with the 6 down here. This 5, 9 pair. Oh, you see, if I'd spotted this was a 5, 9 pair, I could have used that quadruple clue. I know, well, no, I still wouldn't have been able to disambiguate the 9s. So, okay, that makes me feel a bit better. This being a 4-6, I don't really feel I've got any value from that. That's really odd. That's really odd, isn't it? One of these is a 9. So one of these is a 3-4. Let me just explain that logic. Imagine this was a 9. Well, around this quadruple clue, we know there's a 1-2 in one of these and a 3-4 in the other, so there must be a 3-4 here now. Now, obviously, this might not be a 9. The 9 might be here, but then that's going to be a 3-4. So I know one of these two squares is a 3 or a 4, which means the other square must be the complement of that, adding up to 11. So this is either 3-8 or 4-7 into these two squares. Now, okay, and I've seen another way I could have spotted that, which is noting that this is a 5-6 pair looking at this square. So this was already, it was impossible for this to be a 5-6 pair adding up to 11. So that would have brought me down to the same conclusion, which is this is either 3-8 or 4-7, because I knew it couldn't be 2-9. Okay. Is that helpful or not? I don't think it is. I'm not sure. Maybe I've got to colour. I'm reluctant to do this. I know purple. So let's do purple and fluorescent green. So now purple is in this domino. Don't know which one it's in though. So this is fluorescent green. So this is purple now, which means purple is in one of those squares, which I think means green is in one of those squares. Now, does this extend in any manner or means? Well, that's interesting. Yeah, okay. So whatever these two digits are, these are the opposite, aren't they? So now green is in one of these squares, which is I hadn't appreciated before. And perhaps we actually have to colour our 1s and 2s as well. Let's actually do it. Let's go full colouring mode. So if this is yellow, this is now a grey-green pair, and this is a yellow-purple pair. Now, I wonder if there's some way I know this has got to be a 3 or a 4, so that maybe that has to be a 4 using the set theory. I'm not sure. I think Zeta Math's broken my brain. I mean, this is any slowness here is entirely the fault of Zeta Math. I'm sure you all agree. It's probably this 10 kg is just about the only thing unresolved, isn't it? This row needs a 9 in it, and 1, 2 into some organisation. Okay, so let's carry on with this colouring in case we can extend it further. There must now be a yellow digit in here, which means there must be a yellow digit in there, which means there must be a yellow digit in here. Now, if there's a yellow digit in here, there is a grey digit in here. So this is grey and green. So if this is grey and green, grey and green sounds like Graham Greene. We're doing Brighton Rock, the end of the affair today. Are we going to get to the end of the affair of the jewelled band, or is 99.9% sneaky going to defeat us? I'm not sure at the moment. I'm not confident about this. Normally, I have a sense that I'll be able to get through it in the end. I'm still not sure I've got the point of this one quite, and I'm nervous that we've launched into a colouring festival that may may not. Well, we've got to put, we know only one of 1 and 2 is here, so I know that must be a 1 or a 2 here, and it's not that digit. So that digit must be the 1 or 2 that's not yellow. So that is a grey. Actually, that's a new deduction. That is absolutely a grey 1 or 2. And now grey 1 or 2 around this box, look, is forced to be there. There we go. Oh, that's made me feel a bit better about the world. So now I know this consists of a 1 and a 2 and a 3 or a 4. The 3 or the 4 we know is purple. So the 1 or 2 is yellow. So there's a yellow digit in there. That's probably not helpful. What about that digit? I want that to be a 3 or a 4, but I don't think we've proved that to ourselves. This is grey. Yellow's over here. Purple. So purple and green by Sudoku are in these 3 squares. So maybe with that being a 3 or a 4, actually that's a 3 or a 4 as well. I'm just wondering about whether that's what the symmetry is sort of suggesting. I'm not sure. But it was very exciting that we were able to get these 2 digits. Now those 2 digits were awarded to us because this couldn't be a 1 or a 2. Now over here, have we got the same? We haven't quite got the same. This certainly can't be a 1, but if it was a 2, this could be an 8. Now why is that prevented from being an 8? That would put an 8 in one of these, 8, and this would be an 8. And that would be a 7, and that would be a 7. And the world would go on its merry way, wouldn't it? Wow. Wow. 5 around this box, 5 around that quadruple clue is now in one of 2 places. I don't think that's useful. 6. 6 is in one of those 2 positions. Obviously it'd be huge if it was there. Oh, I see. If we knew a little bit more about 6s, the world would be a much more understandable place. Can we extend our colouring somehow? Grey has to make an appearance around this clue, so grey is definitely in one of these 2 cells. Now, can we... It's grey and yellow. There's definitely a 3 or a 4 in one of these 4 cells, and also a 9 in one of them. The 9 is not there, is it? So there is a 9 over here, so this is it. There we go. It's as simple as that. Where does 9 go in row 4? Can't go there, doesn't seem to be able to go there, and doesn't go there. So it goes there, which places the grey digit exactly there now. So this one loses its, not its religion, but it loses its greyification. This square is a 1 or a 2. Now, grey we know is in one of these 2, so we now know which one it is. So this loses its greyification. This one gains greyification, loses greenification. So we can do a bit more there. Now 9s, can we keep... Yeah, 9s we can keep going actually. Look, that's now a 9 somehow. Which means 9 is in one of those 2 squares. Using the quadruple clue in box 3. 6 is in one of these 2 squares. So 6 is knocked out of the 10 cage, which might be, or might come to be important, mightn't it? Oh, it's so nearly cracking. But it remains cryptic just at the moment. We can't put 5 in a 10 cage, can we? So there must be a 5 in one of these 3 squares, which means there must be a 5 in one of those 3 squares. And we now know there's definitely a 3 or a 4 in here. And we now actually know it's a 3. So these squares are from 1, 2 and 3, and they definitely include 3, which means this square is definitely a 4. And now all we've got to do is somehow relate this to the colouring. Now, have we coloured? Do we know what colour the 3 or the 4 is here? We know there's yellow, but that's the 1 or the 2 digit. We need to know whether this is purple or green. And the rotters of the world, I don't think, are going to tell us the answer to that question. But look, if we look at this box now, we've got a 1, 2, 3 triple, a 4, 6 pair as Maverick flies over, an 8, 9. So this square here has to be 5 or 7. But do we know which? Don't think so. Not sure, but don't think so. 9 is here. Oh, this is good. I think we're on the cusp now of understanding the world. I know there's a green digit there, do I? That seems to be what my colouring's telling me. So there is a green digit in one of these squares. And I know each of these rows of blue must contain a green digit. So I've got the one here. So there has to be a green in one of these, but it could be there. And there has to be a green in one of these. It could be there or there, and there has to be a green in one. Ah, the green in... Aha. Yes. Where is the green in this row? It's not there, and it's not here. So that's got to be green, and it's not 6. So that's a 3 or a 4, and it's green. And just to reiterate the logic there, that's because in orange, in our set theory, we know that there are 4 instances of the green digit in orange. So there must be 4 instances in blue of the green digit. And there are 4 rows in which we have to allocate those green digits. We can't put more than one green digit in any one of these 4 rows, can we? So there must be one in this row. And because this can't be green, because I've got green highlighting here, and these can't be green because I've got green highlighting here, that is forced to be green. Now, does that matter? That means that one of these is green, but it still doesn't tell us. If green was 3, we know that's green. And if green's 4, we know one of those is green. I think it might even be possible for it to be that one. Oh! Okay, did it matter that the 6 has moved up? No, look at the 6. That's where the 6s are out. Ah! Okay. Can we pull that trick again then with the purple digit? Let's try that. So purple has to make an appearance in this row. It's going to be here, isn't it? Yeah, here we go. So where does purple go in row 3? It's not there. Yeah, this is how I should have approached this. It's more logically regarding the 3s, 4s, 1s and 2s. But these live solves, you never, we don't know how to solve the puzzle. So we very rarely take the efficient path, I'm afraid. But purple has to make an appearance in one of these squares, where we also know there's a yellow digit, which tells us these digits are now 1, 2, 3 and 4. This is not 5 or 6. Which means that this is the 6, and that's going to be absolutely massive. We know one of these is purple. Let's put that in. But if this is 6 now, we get a 6. We get a 6 in the corner. That's not the same as getting a 3 in the corner. We get a 6 here. It doesn't seem to tell us about the 3, 4, 7, 8 still. 8 around this quadruple clue has to now be here, which means this is no longer an 8. This is no longer a 6. I've got a 7, 8 pair. I get another 6 in the corner. I get a 6 in one of these 2 squares. I get a 6 in one... Oh, that doesn't do anything either. No! The 8 here is ruling itself out of these squares. So these are now 4, 7, which means this is not 4. This is not 4. We've got a 1, 2, 3 triple. So this has become a 5, 9 pair, I want to say, just to complete this row of using Sudoku. And if that's 5, 9, that becomes 7. So this becomes 5, that becomes 7. This is no longer 5. Now, have we done it? This is 5, because we have to put a 5 around that quadruple clue, so that's 9, which means we get, no, that unwinds the 9 and the 5 at the bottom of the grid, but the problem with that is it's not going to do more than that. So we need more. We know these two squares are 5 and 8, which we can do. 5 goes here, 8 goes here. So this column now, if we look carefully, we need 3, 7 and 8, don't we? Into those positions. And that's not 7. That's not 7. There's definitely a 3 in this domino. I bet you it's here, but I can't prove it yet. One day. That by Sudoku is an 8, because we've got this 1, 2, 3, 4 quadruple. 8 is the world's most useless digit. These squares here are 5 and 7, which we can actually do. So 5 and 7 go in the grid. We've nearly, have we? Not quite. Okay, so this column, we've got loads. This is a 3 or a 4. Now, can we colour that? Because it can't be a 1 or a 2, by the way. That's why. So this is 1, 2, 3 or 4. Don't know which. Now, this is 3 or 4. Can we colour it? Can we colour it in somehow? Don't think so. Not sure. I don't know. Alright, 9 is in one of those squares. This recalcitrant, naughty little 10 cage is still resisting. I do know it's 2, 8 or 3, 7. That is true. And I know that square is not 2, so that square is not 8. And that square is not 7, so this square is not 3. So that gives me a 3, 8 pair in this row. So that makes that 4, that 6. Which makes that 6, apparently. Now, still got my 3, 8 pair. So this now is a 5, and that's a 7, and that's a 5, and that's a 7, and that's an 8. So this is a 7, which makes this 2 and this 8. Now 2 is a coloured digit. So 2 is the yellow digit. That's going to do it, I think. And grey must be a 1. So let's fill in all the greys with 1s. This is 3. And this digit is a 3. And that's not a 3. And this row needs 7s, 8s and 9s. I still am not sure that I know. That being 7 tells me that's 4 and that's 7. So does that mean 4 is purple? I think it does. I'm still not... Yeah, it does. Look, down at the bottom it unwinds. So green became 3 after all of this. Purple becomes 4. Green is 3. Green is 3. Green is 3. So this square here is a 1, which means that's 1, that's 2, that's 4, that's 2. This square here is a 9, that's a 9, and now this is an 8, and this is going to do it. 8, 7, 8, 3, this is 2, this is 4, that is 3, and if I haven't made it, so there are 2 3s around this. That doesn't feel right to me, but maybe it is. That's going to be a 2. I filled in the puzzle. Oh no, I haven't. No, that's a 4, and that's a 2. Now I might have filled it in. Let's click tick. Yes, and it's correct. It knows. That's taken me a while. It's because Zetamath broke my brain. But it's also... I am not sure. I'm not sure whether I've done that, inverted commas correctly. I was out sneakied by Sneaky on this one. I think you have to think about set theory, or at least you have to find a way of grasping that 1s, 2s, 3s and 4s are not just restricted in these little 2x2s, but they need to find their ways into the sort of set positions. But I think what I could have done much earlier is to appreciate, you know, this, for example, this row had to be a 1, 2, 3, 4 quadruple. Maybe in that row as well. I'm not sure if the set was giving me that much sooner than I got it. I suspect it was, and I think then the solve would have been smoother, because I'm not sure, but my sense as I was solving was that these 6s and 8s and 5s and 9s would have resolved each other more quickly. It's a beautiful puzzle, this, though. It is really sneaky. It's really sneaky, and I am very much aware that I have not properly coloured all the digits. So let me correct that right now, so people don't get cross with a lack of the appropriate colouring. Let's uncolour that 4. Then we can double click it and turn all of the 4s purple. And then we wanted all of the 2s to be what colour? 2 was the yellow digit, wasn't it? So let's make all the 2s yellow. 1 was therefore the grey digit, so let's make all the 1s grey. Get rid of the 5 and 9. We can get rid of, I think, all the 5 and 9 colouring. That doesn't need to be coloured, and we can get rid of all of the blue colouring. And we're just left with a prettier pattern. It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Let me know in the comments how you got on with that one. I forgot to look at how difficult this was. 55 minutes. I would be okay with that if this is a 3-star puzzle, I think. If it's only a 2-star puzzle, then I suspect I've missed a trick by going down the set theory route. Or I've gone down the right trick but implemented it poorly. So let me know in the comments how I got on. Let me know how you got on. And I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind. And we'll be back later with another edition of Kraken the Cryptic.